Do you ever walk past a store and wonder, how does that place stay in business?
I'm John Casey. I make rubber stamps in the East Village of New York. That is rubber stamps.
So how long has the store been here?
Well, in different locations and over a number of years since 1979.
Casey Rubber Stamps is the last of its kind in the city. Tucked away on 11th Street between 1st and 2nd Ave in the East Village, John sells high-quality, hand-cut rubber stamps out of his tiny railroad-style store. We spent a couple days with John to learn the ins and outs of his business.
I'm always trying to make as high quality a stamp as I can. Most companies will just take what you give them. They don't look at it twice. Everything is done to a template, and we did nothing to a template.
John showed me his favorite stamp in the store. He had one image of it but wasn't satisfied, so he tracked down an old book with the original illustration to capture even more detail.
This came from a clip art book originally. The one that made the stamp came from the original catalogue. So obviously any stamp can only be as good as what you start off with, and this is a good analogue. You see how the small lines are already missing? And you see how much there's much more details on the waves, and that's all to do with the fact that this one, which has been copied, multiple times before I got it from a clip art book.
But who is still buying this stuff? Who still needs rubber stamps?
Half and half are people that just want a design, and then I do a fair amount of custom logos.
So what kind of stamps are you getting?
I'm getting sewing stamps because I'm a seamstress. I was looking at animal stamps too, but I haven't made my mind up yet.
Do you feel like you actively try to find mom and pop stores?
Yeah, usually. I mean, I just think it's a lot more special than like a corporation. They're always just, I don't know, more unique.
But there is one customer John refuses to sell to. I saw that you have a sign that says no drug dealer stamps. You don't want to make their logos?
God, they come in, they're annoying, what can I tell you?
About 50% of his sales are custom order stamps, and the other half are off-the-shelf stamps. Both have the same profit margin, but stock stamps are easier to produce. He finds his designs searching through old books, magazines, and ads, giving them that authentic vintage charm. How many stamps do you have in the store?
No idea.
These are custom ones that they make, where if there's like some left over, they just get tossed in this bin, and then maybe someone else will also happen to want something that says Viagra weed. Do you sell any other products besides stamps?
Well, other than the cocaine, the marijuana, the fentanyl, no. No, we just do rubber stamps.
Have you ever had any close calls with the store almost going out of business?
There's been a few times in my life when I'm wondering what the hell am I doing. Back in the 90s, a lot of big mail order companies took over the craft rubber stamp businesses, and they set up and they made lots of stamps, and they got a consultant in who saw Hallmark as the benchmark to go by, and they produced all cutesy stamps, and they lost their charm, they lost their uniqueness, and they just became another boring cutesy commodity.
John's business has become so niche that his suppliers are shutting down, with the demand for raw materials declining.
I'm having to modernize. It's a dying business. I mean, my mold is called Bakelite Matrix mold. The last manufacturer in the United States has just stopped making it. So I have a limited amount of it. So I've just bought a laser engraver to do the custom stamps on the laser. I don't want to, but at this stage I have no choice.
There's no long-term solution to preserve his old-school manufacturing process. One short-term fix has been buying raw materials from competitors that have shut down.
I'm not pessimistic about the future of mom and pop stores, but it's certainly got a lot more difficult.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
I have a new landlord who wants to more than double my rent. He wants me to pay for the renovation of the buildings, basically. It's going to be difficult. I'm surviving, but I won't be buying my mansion in the south of France anytime soon, New York is changing. I don't know what retail is going to be like in the near future.
Despite all these challenges, John has found a way to keep his business operating for decades. Why have you lasted as the last hand-cut rubber stamp store in the city when all the others, all the big manufacturers are gone?
There's a few reasons. It's because I'm a small niche and I'm not competing against big corporations with massive buying power, manufacturing power, etc. There is a need for small, crafty type businesses in the world. Everything cannot be mass made. But another big part of it is this. Something that the big manufacturers did not see. Young people pass by all the time that are starting small businesses, and a rubber stamp would never come into their mind until they pass the store and says, oh, you know, I could use one of those. So I get a lot of extra business from that. This kind of a store could not survive by just passing traffic. You have to have people find you. And I'm relatively well known in rubber stamps. I would say every day at least 25, maybe up to 30, 40% of my customers are people that have me on a place to go check out or to visit.
Do you think that they come for you or they come for the store?
Oh, to come for the store.
I think that you're part of the store.
I may be, but that's bad. the store should be able to stand on its on the quality of its rubber stamps. How's that?
I think the store...
Just because I tell stories in between has nothing to do with that.
I think it could stand on its own, but you make it stand so much taller.
Thank you.
So what does the future hold? John has no plans to retire anytime soon.
I'm going to go as long as I can. If I get kicked out of here, I'll find somewhere else. I'll have to. You know, I'm still learning how to make stamps, believe it or not. I'm still trying different ways of doing it. I'm not stubborn. If you can do this better, easier, simpler, I listen. I'm all for it. Go tell me what to do. The day I stop learning, I'll be dead. So something has to give, though. There are far too many empty stores, and there's all sorts of immigrant families that want to start businesses. I mean, the idea of entrepreneurship in America is still big, particularly among hungry immigrants, myself included.
Would you recommend someone to go into the stamp business?
Good God, no.